You wake up when your body is ready. No alarm, no schedule, no place you need to be. You sit up, stretch, look out at the horizon, and ask yourself one simple question. What should I do today? For 99% of human history, this wasn't a luxury. This wasn't a vacation. It was every single morning for roughly 300,000 years. The average modern human will spend about 90,000 hours of their life working. That is roughly 1/3 of your entire waking existence on this planet dedicated to a job, a boss, a career, a schedule. We are told this is the natural path of progress, that we worked our way out of the mud so we could finally have the leisure to enjoy our lives. But the bones tell a different story. What if civilization wasn't an escape from a brutal struggle? What if it was a trap that stole our time? In 1963, a young anthropologist named Richard Lee set out to document one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer societies on Earth, the Jew/Hoansi of Botswana. At the time, economists assumed that people living without modern technology must spend every waking second on the brink of starvation, desperately searching for food. But when Lee actually timed their days, he found something that shocked the academic world. The average adult spent just 2.5 days per week acquiring food. That is roughly 17 hours a week. The rest of their time was entirely theirs. They did whatever they wanted. And this wasn't an anomaly. Wherever anthropologists looked, from the Hadza in Tanzania to the Aceh in Paraguay to the Martu in Australia, the results were identical. When they did work, it didn't feel like a job. There was no clock to punch, no supervisor watching their every move. If a hunt was successful 2 days ago, they didn't leave camp today. They stayed home. They sat in the shade. They crafted tools, wove baskets, and scraped hides. Not because they had to meet a quota, but because competence mattered, and making things well is a fundamental part of being human. Some might argue that these modern studies don't represent the true deep past, that ancient humans must have lived short, brutal, agonizing lives. But we don't have to guess. The evidence is literally etched into our ancestors' skeletons. When bioarchaeologists compare the bones of ancient hunter-gatherers to the early agricultural populations who replaced them, the contrast is devastating. The early farmers were consistently shorter. Their bones show severe signs of nutritional deficiency, and their teeth were riddled with cavities from grain-heavy diets. They had painful arthritis in their spines from repetitive, back-breaking labor, and they died significantly younger. To feed a growing population, humans had to bend over saddle querns, flat grinding stones, for hours every single day. Their big toes are severely arthritic from kneeling for hours. Their lower vertebrae are collapsed. Their arm bones are so abnormally dense from the relentless grinding of grain that they rival the skeletons of modern elite rowers. The bread that fed early civilizations was paid for loaf by loaf with the destruction of the human body. Around 10,000 years ago, in the Fertile Crescent, we began planting seeds and domesticating animals. We call it the agricultural revolution, and we celebrate it as our greatest triumph. But evolutionary biologists often call it something else. The ultimate trap. Once you start farming, you can feed more mouths. But more mouths mean you need more fields. More fields require more grueling labor. Within a few generations, the population explodes, and there is no turning back. And with these massive populations came the need for control. We needed specialists to organize the harvest, soldiers to guard the granaries, and administrators to count the grain. For the first time in human history, your time no longer belonged to you. It was traded to someone else in exchange for resources. Jobs were born. And the original human lifestyle, the one we evolved for over hundreds of thousands of years, was systematically erased, replaced by schedules, debts, taxes, and obligations. Today, we live in a culture that worships the hustle. We run ourselves ragged chasing achievements, wealth, and status, standards invented by a society we built. We spend our entire careers working, saving, and sacrificing, all for a single, distant promise: retirement. But here is the crushing irony of the human story. The life you are working your entire existence to retire into is the life your ancestors woke up to every single morning. They didn't need to prove their worth through productivity. They woke up already free, already enough, and at peace with the world. We didn't invent art because we got jobs. They made art because they had time, and because that is what humans do when they are free. We did not chase progress. We chased an illusion of greatness, and in the process we traded away our freedom. But if survival only took 15 hours a week, what did our ancestors actually do with the rest of their lives? They didn't just sit in silence. In the dark, around the fire, they were about to invent something even more powerful than agriculture. They were about to invent the human soul. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden history of human existence. We'll explore the stories buried in time, waiting to be rediscovered.